What if you knew that 12 minutes a day could completely transform your life, your finances, your relationship? Oh my gosh, 12 minutes. Wouldn't you want to know what you needed to do in that 12 minutes? Well, I'm dying to know. And that is the topic of today's episode for Allie and You, the Business Success and Lifestyle Show. I am Allison Maslan. My friends call me Allie. I'm a business growth mentor and serial entrepreneur. I love all things business. And really, the show is about helping you to break through those walls to get to that next level in your business and your life. And today, my guest is going to give you exactly that. So let me just jump right in and introduce John Mitchell. He is recognized today as the top practical application in the world of the legendary book, Think and Grow Rich, one of my favorite all-time books. I mean, you know, we'll dive into that. But so listen to this. When John applied his technique to his own life, he saw his income go to over $5 million a year. And it was a dramatic jump. He's going to tell all about that. Previously, he had only had a moderate success as an entrepreneur, earning low six figures a year. And the difference was just this daily technique and increasing control over himself by probably double. The science behind his technique was profiled in a Time magazine cover story. John, welcome to Allie and You.
Thank you, Allie. Glad to be here.
I am so excited. Now, I got to see you speak. I was blown away by what you shared, and I said, I've got to have you on my show. And I know everybody's in for a real treat. So those of you that are watching right now, commit to watching the whole show. This 30 minutes will change your life. So, John, tell us, I mean, your story is so transformational. So I'm just going to let you have the floor here, or the mic. And you use this technique we were talking about and changed your own life.
Right,
So
right.
Share that with everybody and me.
Well, Allie, you know, I started my career as a CPA and became an entrepreneur when I was 30. But when I turned 50, I just wasn't as successful as I thought I should be. And I had two goals in my life: make enough money so I didn't have to work, and to find the woman of my dreams. And I was falling short on both of them. So, you know, as an entrepreneur, I was always blessed to do, you know, pretty good, six figures a year, but never close to $1 million a year. And on finding the girl, at 50, I'd never been married. But I can tell you, Allie, it was not from lack of interview. I did a lot of interviewing. But then the defining moment happened like 3 days after I turned 50. And picture this. I'm in my office, I'm kicked back, and I got my feet on the desk, and I start to realize that if I don't start making over $1 million a year, I'm never going to have that exceptional life that I always dreamed of. You know, the sense of freedom and the lifestyle, the sense of accomplishment. And that really hit me like a ton of bricks. And it was clear to me I had to make it happen in my 50s. So I made a decision. I realized that hard work really doesn't work. I mean, it works for making six figures a year, but I was living proof that it didn't work for making seven. And I just knew there had to be something else. So I made the decision to go find out whatever that something else is. So 3 months after turning 50, I'm struggling to figure out, you know, what to do. So then I got this pearl of wisdom. Why not find the top book in the world ever written on success and achievement, and then apply it word for word to my life? You know, Allie, the logic was so simple and compelling. So after some research, I found that there actually is one book that excels over all other on the topic. And as you know, it's Think and Grow Rich. And and Ellie, here's what's significant about it. It's really two things. First, this book has sold over 100 million copies, and the next best-selling book on success and achievement has sold under 10 million. And so clearly, it is the top book ever written. And
yeah, by
right,
miles and miles.
right. And I know, when I tell people the book Think and Grow Rich, I found that about 1 in 3 has heard of it. But when you tell them, those numbers, now you got their attention. And here's the second thing that's pretty interesting about this. This book, the simple concept of the book, which is what you envision in detail on a daily basis, is what shows up in your life. That concept has created more millionaires and billionaires than any other concept on the planet. And so, of course, I read the book, but I ran into the problem that so many people run into when you read a good book: how to apply it to your life. Right? You've experienced that,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
And
Yeah, I mean, that's like watching a really good, someone that's been very successful at what they do, but finding a way to then take that and translate it.
right,
You know what I mean? Like, you could be a great expert, but being a good teacher is a whole
Right.
different deal.
right. And so, and I ran into that problem. Great book, but how to apply it. But I felt that pressure of turning 50, and it was like, what am I going to go do? Find a better book? So I'm like, I got to figure out how to apply this. And over 9 years, I developed this 12-minute a day technique. And over that 12 years, I saw my income quickly go from, a 20-year history of making 6 figures a year to 5 million plus a year. And I also met the woman of my dreams from doing it. So, it was truly transformative. And, I saw that it was happening. I mean, this is what was really cool about it. It was great that it was happening, but I could see why it was happening. By really applying 2 key scientific principles to my life, I was materially impacting my success and achievement in life in all phases of my life. So that's sort of the story of this.
Yeah, that is just so incredible. And of course, I want to know the 12 minutes and what you do in the 12 minutes. So,
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. It's like the answers are out there, right? It's, it's been written in books, but then translating how to apply that in the everyday.
Right.
And so what do you feel creates success in people?
I want to throw that back to you. You tell me what you think, and I'll play off that a little, right? Because I don't want to influence you a little.
Yeah, you know what? That's thank you for throwing it back at me. It's interesting because we were talking about it earlier. I think a lot of times people are looking for that one strategy, that one thing. Is it the Facebook ad? Is it the funnel? Is
Right.
it the target market? And I personally think it's just deciding that you are going to create a success of whatever it is. If I have somebody that's telling me, it's a couple things. If I have someone telling me, oh, I'm going to try this business and see how it's going to work, I already know that it's not going to work.
Right.
Because, you have to really, make the decision that it's going to work and that you will find the solution. The other thing is just that power of intention. And, it's just, there's so much synchronicity. There's so much opportunity. So number one, believing that it's absolutely going to happen and not giving up, of course, when you hit the walls, but just getting that complete clarity of what it is that you want to create and just see that unfolding. And I've seen that happen in every area of my life. It's how I've attracted my husband. It's how I've created the success in my business and so much more. So.
Right. Well, let's dig into that a little deeper.
Okay.
and challenge me on this if you disagree with this.
Okay.
I came to realize that at the end of the day, your success in each area of your life actually comes down to your daily actions and ongoing thoughts. Because over time, those daily actions determine your success. Would you agree with that?
Definitely, right? Because they all add up.
Right.
So daily
Right.
actions being consistent, for sure.
But I see the problem in the success and human achievement field is that everything else is strategies. But we don't need more strategies. We got all the strategies. We got strategies coming out of our ears. What
Yes.
we need is to have great strategies show up in our thoughts and actions automatically. And that's what this 12-minute a day technique really is all about, is applying science to your life so that that your ongoing actions and thoughts reflect your goals and the person you want to be. I mean, that's sort of a simple explanation.
Right. So it really is about the thoughts behind the actions, right?
Right.
Because you see people all the time that are doing all the right things, but they're still not manifesting what they want.
Right.
And so my what I'm feeling is happening is that they're not congruent, because at the same time their thoughts are, this is never going to work, or I'm not offering enough value, or who am I, or money's bad, whatever it is.
Right.
And then you're out there like putting in the action. So it's like this constant, battle internally, and
Right.
therefore not getting the result.
Right. Right. I think that's true.
Yeah.
But I think, in my 30s and 40s, I was hard working. I mean, I'd get up at 5:30 and I'd work until 6, and I was working 70 hours a week. And doing that for 20 years. But, I saw that, where is that really getting me? There's something missing. I mean, yes, I did okay, but it didn't create that true sense of accomplishment. I didn't see it show up big time in my bank account. I also couldn't find the woman of my dreams. And when I turned 50, I'm like, I'm tired of this frustration. That I sort of felt like, what am I going to have to work the rest of my life? Am I never going to have that sense of freedom? And then I started realizing, from reading the book, that it is your daily thoughts and actions. And if you can manipulate and control those thoughts and actions around your goals and the person you want to be, you will achieve your goals. But it's a methodology for really applying science to your life to make that happen.
Yeah, it is it's taking control of those thoughts,
Right.
because they can run amok. And so I'm on the edge of my seat, John. So can you share with me,
Right.
for you, the 12 minutes, this methodology? And I'm sure everybody else is like, tell me.
Okay. Now here's how it works. I'm going to tell you exactly how it works. So we take your life and compress it down to one sheet of paper, front and back. On the front is the ideal you, the 5 key areas of your life: your career, your health, yourself, your significant other relationship, and your spirituality. So the 5 key areas of your life are articulated on the front and the ideal you. On the back are the improvements you want in your life, as well as your top 3 goals for the quarter. Now, one will be in career, one in health, one in your romantic relationship.
Okay.
So you're feeding that to yourself every day. And so essentially what you're feeding to yourself is exactly the person you want to be, exactly what you want to accomplish, and precisely how you're going to achieve your clearly defined goal. And what happens is when you feed this to yourself every day, after about 21 days, you start seeing that what you're feeding yourself shows up automatically without thinking. And Allie, I'll give you an example.
Okay.
So, as I mentioned, I didn't get married until I was in my 50s. And so I get married, and I discover something that unfortunately my married friends had failed to share with me. I discovered that every once in a while your spouse will say something irritating. I know that's
Oh
never happened.
no, never. Are you kidding me?
Right? Yeah,
Wow.
I know. It happens to a lot of,
That's a shocker. Yeah.
but so surprised, and so it happened to me, and I didn't really like what would come out of my mouth when it happened. Not that it happened all that often, but it happened. And so I thought, okay, I'm going to put what I feed myself every day. One of the things I'm going to feed myself is I'm flexible, patient, and thoughtful. Well, okay, I start feeding every day. 15 days in, nothing. I mean, I'm no more flexible, patient, or thoughtful 15 days in than I was at the start. But about the 21st, 22nd day, my precious wife, Ginger, says something irritating. And in that moment, Allie, I'm flexible, patient, and thoughtful. That's who I had become. It wasn't something I had to think about. It happened automatically without thinking. And, when I stepped back and I really observed that, I realized that the reason it didn't work 15 days in is because my subconscious mind thought that the programming was going to go away. But after 21 days, it realized that it wasn't going away. And then it fed it up to myself automatically without thinking. And that was the magic of it.
Wow.
And
And do you think that it is the 21 days? Do you feel like that there's something to that number?
I do. And I'll share with you real briefly how the mind works.
Okay.
The conscious mind sets your intention and is influenced by logic. But it's your subconscious mind that controls your everyday thoughts and ongoing actions, and it's influenced by repetition.
Okay.
So, and I'll give you an example of this. Let's say you want to lose weight. Well, the conscious mind sets the intention to lose weight based on logic, but actually losing weight comes down to your everyday actions and ongoing thoughts, meaning exercising and controlling what you eat. And the reason people don't lose weight is not from lack of intention, it's from lack of influencing that part of their brain that controls their ongoing thoughts and actions. And that part of the brain only responds to repetition. That's the power of, the subconscious mind doesn't accept the repetition until about 21 days. Before that, it thinks it's going away.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. So, that's why, and so many people will start a diet or a health routine, and after 2 weeks, they will get frustrated and quit. It's like you just really need to hang on.
Right. And one of the things you might find interesting, I teach this to high achievers at the University of Texas, which is a lot of fun. But my real passion is to teach it to entrepreneurs who are just like me, who are frustrated making 6 figures a year and want to go to 7. And I tell them, I'm going to teach you the foundation to making 7 figures a year. And here's how it applies to entrepreneurs, because I know you got a lot of entrepreneurs in your audience. So every day you're going to feed about 4 key things to yourself. You'll feed your succinct business plan, your strategy for success, the 2 or 3 things that move the needle in your business, and the linchpin issue, whatever that issue is, to take you to the next level. And so you're feeding those 4 things, the succinct articulation of those 4 things every day. Well, here's what happens, and it's really 3 things. First, your business plan is so easy to implement because it's so top of mind. So that's the first thing. Second thing is you're laser focused only on what moves the needle.
Yeah.
All other distractions fall by the wayside. And the third thing, and this was surprising, so I would feed myself every day my strategy for success. Well, whatever your strategy for success in your business is, there's flaws in it. maybe it's 2/3 right and 1/3 wrong. And by feeding it to yourself every day, it causes your plan to morph and evolve much quicker than it does if you have your strategy for success sitting on the shelf in your office. You
Right.
know, and it's I was amazed. I felt this momentum constantly pulling my vision forward, and I saw that wow, this really does create a foundation for making 7 figures a year. I mean, it really does.
So I could see that because you're so focused on that, you just keep getting more clarity and more clarity,
Right,
right? And you're obviously probably attracting in the people
right.
uh, and the opportunities to make that happen, right?
Well, and Allie, I could just see I was like operating at a higher level. And I'll give you an example. When I was in my 30s and 40s making 6 figures, if you had asked me to rate myself on a scale of 1 to 10 as an entrepreneur, I probably would have rated myself, oh, maybe an 8. But when I got in my 50s and started doing this, I'm like, I wasn't an 8. I was a 3 or 4. I mean, in my 50s, then now I'm operating at a much higher level every day. I'm laser focused on what moves the needle. I have a way to evolve my strategy for success. I mean, I'm just operating at a much higher level.
Yeah. So let's back up again because I want to get clear on this. So on the one side of the paper, you're dividing it up. Well, we'll look at the life side and then the business side.
Right.
Putting like as if you are already that person.
Right.
And so your business, your wealth, your relationship, your personal life, right? How you're spending your time, the fun things that you're doing in your life, and the spiritual aspect of your life.
Well, let me make it a little more precise. So
Okay.
You'll articulate the ideal you as a person. You'll articulate you from a health standpoint, what you're doing for exercise and controlling your
And are you doing it in present tense? Can you give me
Absolutely.
okay, like I'm feeling vibrant and my
Well,
immune system is strong.
whatever you want to be, you accept the fact that you're already that.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, exactly.
And so you're articulating the ideal you and yourself, your health, your relationship, your romantic relationship, your spirituality, and your career. And we've got sort of a formula that makes you articulate that in a rather succinct, effective way. Everybody is different, but we teach you how to customize it to you. And then on the back, you've got the improvements you want in each of those 5 areas of your life, as well as your top 3 goals.
Okay, that are going to the improvements that are going to get you to that ideal picture.
Right.
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 And then what else did you say on the back?
And then your top 3 goals for
your top 3 goals. Okay, that are going to move you,
right.
like move the needle the fastest.
And we do something pretty interesting with the goal setting. We incorporate probably the top goal setting system in the world, where you define the goal, define the why behind the goal, find the 3 or 4 key behaviors associated with the goal, and then the time frame and measurement. And then every Sunday morning, you're going to track some of those key behaviors on the bottom so you can see your performance on the key behaviors, with the idea that if you do the key behaviors, you're going to achieve your goals.
Right. And I know before we're done with this interview, you're going to actually give an email course that is going to help walk people through this. So we'll do that in a little bit. That means you need to hang on to the show and until we're done to listen to it all.
Right.
I'm so going to do this. I love this. This is really, I have a saying, make decisions from where you're going, not from where you're at.
Right.
And I'm such a big believer of intention. And I just, oh gosh, story after story, just the people that I'm meeting and constantly it's happening. I mean, I have my book, Scale or Fail, that's coming out
Right.
next month, that I'm just been working on, I feel like this baby is so ready to be born. And while you're watching the show, you can actually get the book on Amazon, Scale or Fail. And so I gave a talk on it, and there was someone in the audience that was so moved by what I shared that went and wrote an article for Inc. magazine. And I wake up in the morning and on the book, I wake up and, when I turn on the computer and I look, and there it is, and it says like the book to help you scale your business fast, right on Inc. magazine. And I'm just like, this is not a strategy. This is really like, you're putting that intention, you're seeing whatever it is. In my eyes, I see that book in everybody's hands that needs it, that it's going to make a difference. And the how it unfolds, I'm just allowing that to, I'm letting the universe kind of provide that. Of course, I'm showing up and doing the work, but it's just so much more fun that way.
When I see the complement to what you're doing, which I love, to what I'm doing, is to take your book and help people have those ideas show up in their thoughts and actions on a daily basis. And I have people that you've heard of the secret. Remember The Secret?
Mm-hmm.
Well, this is the opposite of The Secret. I buy into the law of attraction and all that. But, this isn't just imagine what you want and it magically comes to you. Now, my background is being a CPA, and so I'm not inclined to that type of woo-woo sort of stuff.
I know. You're very analytical, okay? Because
you're
the numbers behind it. So it's like, what's the thinking behind it? What's the science behind it?
Right. And really, that's what this really is. Over the last 20 years, there's been intense interest in what separates the mega achievers from everybody else. And what they've really discovered is it comes down to two things: control of self and focus. Well, those are exactly the two things I teach in this 12-minute day methodology.
Yeah. So it really is, because the unconscious thought, somebody was telling me, and I don't know if this is accurate, but that 90% of our actions come from our unconscious mind.
Right.
What do you think of that? That gives us 4% of hope from our conscious mind, but it really drives everything we do.
Well, and here's the other thing, and we talked about it earlier. So everybody is working at a disadvantage because they're using an antiquated operating system to run their life. It gears them to survival. If you do no daily programming, that's the operating system that's running your life. And there's the negative side of that is that first of all, it causes 90% of your thoughts to be fear-based. It causes you to have less than 20% control over yourself. And it causes you to be reactive rather than proactive on your agenda. Well, the only way you overcome that is to overlay programming that gears you to being proactive on your agenda and gearing yourself to positive thoughts, not negative thoughts.
Right.
And so unless you're doing that type of programming, again, you're using that innate operating system that sort of dooms you, right, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, we've got the same operating system for the last few thousand years, right? So I think it's time for a reboot. I mean, it seems like
right.
Technology's moving so quickly. Our brains need to. But I just, the thought of that, it's like, we exercise our body. I went to the gym today, and if I stop doing that, then I mean, it's okay for a while, but it's going to go fast. And why not then do the same thing for the brain and to our thoughts? And really, it is about controlling, because controlling your thoughts affects your feelings, right? And your feelings affect your actions, and your actions affect your results.
Right. Well, and Allie, one of the things I realized is you've got to have an advantage in life. If you want to have an exceptional life, you can't do life like everybody else does it. And so you need an advantage in life. And in my 30s and 40s, I was always looking for that success formula, that if you did this, it would ensure success. And by the time I reached 50, I'm like, well, I don't think a success formula exists. I mean, some people would say, well, hard work is a success formula. Well, okay, but there's got to be something more to really have exceptional success. And I realized you've got to have an advantage in life. And this 12-minute-a-day methodology is it, I'm telling you.
Yeah, 12 minutes. And so do you recommend doing this like first thing in the morning when you open your eyes?
Right. There's a lot of science behind this, but yeah, literally first thing you do when your mind is still sort of in the alpha state. And that's when you're most receptive to it. And I sort of see that you can do life like everybody else the other 23 hours and 48 minutes, but you do this 12-minute-a-day thing that I've developed, and it changes everything. I mean, I'm amazed that it does. It really does. And the genius of this is not me. It's Napoleon Hill who wrote Think and Grow Rich.
Yeah, it's I love because you've simplified it, you've translated. It can be a bit of a textbook and a little bit heavier and antiquated, but the message is there, and it's like you're bringing Shakespeare into the 21st century, and,
right.
In a sense, and just saying this is step 1, this is step 2, this is step 3. So I'm just such a big believer in this. I truly believe that mindset is everything, and but the unconscious mindset, right? So I'm excited to apply this. I'm going to do it. So I recommend all of you that are watching this, let's go ahead. We still have some other questions that I have for you, John.
Okay.
But for those of you, let's go ahead and do, can you share the number for the texting for the gift?
So text 44222, train the brain. So the way this works is text into the number 44222. Then in the message, type in train the brain with no space.
Train the brain, like all one word or 3 words?
All one word, no space.
Okay.
And what you'll get is you'll get my free 5-day course. It takes you through this process step by step. I'll show you the science behind it, and you'll fully understand it after the 5th day.
Perfect. So 44222, train the brain. We'll go ahead and put the link there too. You can also go to our library, which is what is our library? AllisonMaslan.com/library. And you will get not only this gift from John, but you will also get the downloads from all of our other guests. So it really is a powerful place to visit. So all the information will be there. So what is, you talk about the differentiator between being moderately successful and being mega successful.
Right.
I mean, obviously there's a big difference, but what are your thoughts around that?
Well, and like I said, really for the last 20 to 25 years, there's been intense interest in this and studying the mega achievers. And it really does come down to control of self and focus. And when you really think about it, that would make sense because most people by their nature, partly because they're using an antiquated operating system to run their lives, are not focused. And focus is your thoughts, your daily thoughts. And control of self is your daily actions. So you see that the two things that this 12-minute-a-day methodology effects are exactly the two things that make the mega achievers the mega achievers.
So what do you, let's say that you have, let's say you're in a difficult challenge in your life.
Right.
And you have a lot of demands coming at you, or you have financial demands coming at you and so forth. And it's like, okay, I get this, John, like I've written this out, I'm reading it, but I'm still getting these thoughts coming through of fear or overwhelm or shame or guilt, whatever
Right.
that is. Everyone has their
Right.
recipe. What do you do with that?
Well, great question. After 21 days, that essentially goes away because I'll give you an example. Let's say you have negative thoughts. We all have negative thoughts. Well, when you train your brain that as soon as you see a negative thought, that you immediately are going to trigger to something you're grateful for. You probably articulate this, that maybe you're grateful for your husband or your wife. And as soon as you get a negative thought in your head, immediately you trigger to your husband or wife. Well, at first, it doesn't work because the subconscious mind doesn't accept it. But after 21 days, that starts to happen. And what I found with this technique, it's really the ultimate of living a life of intention and clarity. And it gives you a real sense of control over your life to a level that you've never experienced before. So if you have a lot of things hitting at you and you're feeding, this to yourself, it comes over you that, hey, I got control of my life. Sure, there's bumps in the road, but I can handle the bumps because I'm clear about where I'm going and who I am.
Right. You're not letting that take over.
Right.
And so what you're saying is when these fearful thoughts come in, you just immediately are switching them to this of, where you're going and, this mantra you're creating. And so then that slowly just dissolves.
Right. Well, and like I said in the example about my wife, it happens automatically without thinking. It's not like, when you have a negative thought, you have to stop and go, oh, now I need to trigger to my wife or husband. It happens automatically.
Yeah.
Once
that's the key.
Right.
That's the key. Okay.
Right. Right.
All right. So.
And the other thing I think that's interesting about it is you're impacting your career, health, and romantic relationship all at the same time.
Yeah.
That's the other cool thing.
Yeah, that's incredible. And I'm sure some people watching this are like, yeah, that's just too easy. Right?
Yeah. I know.
Right, because we feel like, oh, this has to be really complicated and it's got to be super costly and all of that.
That is a great point, and I've oftentimes seen that people go, well, this is too easy. And I'm like, well, let's just understand what this is. It's applying the top book in the world ever written on success. So it's got that credibility, and it's got, Time Magazine did a cover story on the slants behind this. So how do you get more credible than that? And I really see that it comes down to, it's not, will this work? It's proven to work. You can take that off the table. It really comes down to, is a higher level of success a necessity for you or merely a preference? For most people, more success is merely a preference. Darren Hardy, who I bet has told me that. And I think that's true.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, and what I love how you tie in the why behind it. So It's like, is it success because you just want all this stuff, or is there a why behind it? Is it something that there's just the sense of achievement that you've always dreamed of, reaching a certain goal, creating something, or is there an impact that you want to make? Are there people that you want to help? Because invariably when you reach your goal, it's not just you, it also impacts a lot of other people.
Well, and I think you hit on it. Once I started making 7 figures a year, I didn't know what it would be like. I thought it'd be pretty great to have the lifestyle, and it is. But the thing that was most impactful were the non-material things. How I felt about myself, that sense of accomplishment, being able to start a foundation for single moms. I know you have a history being a single mom.
Yeah.
And you know, having an exceptional life was really not so much the lifestyle and the actual money, but the freedom and the sense of accomplishment. That's the real joy of it. And
Yeah, to be able to have that freedom of choice of what you want to do and
right.
how you want to spend your time. So, yeah, this is really, really fantastic. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited. So this has been so great, John. I really appreciate you sharing it. We're going to go ahead and put the text again down below, which is 44222. And then you put into the message of the text is train the brain.
Right.
Train
right.
the brain. 12 minutes a day, people. You can do this. And then I want to hear everything that you have to say about applying this. And this has just been wonderful, John. So thank you.
Well, thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it, and I admire what you're doing.
Thank you so much. Wasn't this great? I would love to hear your thoughts. Share them. If you can also subscribe to our show and get these fantastic episodes every single week right in your inbox. Also go to subscribe-to-Allie.com, subscribe-to-Allie.com, and then write a review. We would love to hear, what do you think of the show? Are you learning new things? Is your business growing? And don't forget to grab your copy of my brand new book, Scale or Fail. And you can get that at scaleorfail.com. And there's all kinds of fun bonuses that we're giving away for that to help you take your business to a much higher level. Boy, you apply this book, you apply John's strategy here, forget about it. Forget about it. All right. Get out there and elevate yourself. Until next time.